When it comes to questions people ask me about moving to Charleston, flooding is by far the number one topic. So today, we're going to be telling you everything that you need to know about the flooding here in Charleston. What's up, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Bill Olson, your favorite YouTubing realtor here in Charleston, South Carolina. And real quick, if you haven't yet, don't forget, let's go ahead, subscribe, ring that bell, like this video, share it with your friends, especially if they're thinking of moving to Charleston, because we've got some great information for you all about flooding today. Flooding is an actual issue. I have lived through it myself. This is a picture of me getting out of the neighborhood in my first home during a storm. We had to kayak out to go to the grocery store because the water was too deep for our cars. When it comes to the flooding issue, these are actual text messages and emails that I get from people. We want to move to Charleston, but we don't want to live in a flood zone. Or we have friends that live in Charleston, and they told us to make sure that when we buy a house, it's not in a flood zone. Now, this is the first thing we're going to talk about because both of these statements are a myth. The fact is, everything in Charleston is in some sort of a flood zone. It just depends on how big of a risk that flood zone is. So let's break down the three major flood zones that you're going to find here in Charleston. The first zone is Zone X. This is the lowest risk, and mortgage companies are more than likely not going to require you to carry flood insurance. Most people that are in Zone X consider themselves not in a flood zone. So does that mean it's not going to flood? No, because remember, floods can't read flood maps. After Zone X, you're going to find most of the other half of the area in Zone AE. Now, this is considered a moderate to high risk of flooding where mortgage companies are going to require you to carry flood insurance. The official definition of Zone AE states that there is a 1% annual chance of flooding, and that calculates into roughly a 26% chance of flooding over the course of a 30-year mortgage. Most homes, especially the newer ones that are built in AE, are going to be elevated either on a crawl space or now we're seeing a lot of them with drive-under garages. This is to ensure that the lowest main living area is above the base floodplain elevation. This is determined by an elevation certificate that you can get, and if it shows that that floor is above that base floodplain elevation, and the higher it gets, ideally, the lower your insurance premium will be. Most of the AE zones we see here in Charleston are going to be around rivers, lakes, and bodies of water. And the third zone we're going to talk about is the highest risk, and that is Zone VE. Now, Zone VE has the exact same risk as Zone AE. However, it adds in the additional risk of storm waves. So we see Zone VE as beachfront and some riverfront properties. So let's pull up the map here so we can see the different areas. Now, the blue area is going to be your VE. Like I said, you can see it follows the coast and the bigger rivers that go through. The brown and the dark red are flood zones AE and A. They have the same risk. The red just doesn't have base flood elevations, but they are that 1% chance annual risk of flooding. Everything else we see is in Zone X. So if you're super concerned about flooding, finding a home in Zone X is going to be your best bet. But again, as I said earlier, floods can't read flood maps. It's just a lower risk. It doesn't state that there will never be a flood. When it comes to actual flood insurance, if you want more information on that, or you want to determine exactly where a home is going to be, I suggest you reach out to a local insurance agent. They can best help you on that. And I'm going to toss my preferred insurance agent's information down below in the description. He'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So now I know you're asking yourself, well, Bill, what areas flood the most? There's a few areas that I can say for sure. Most of them are going to be downtown because it is the lowest lying area. Lockwood, right where it meets Broad Street, during high tides, we do see water there, and on Ashley Road, as well as some other pockets throughout downtown. We're also seeing increased flooding in West Ashley and Johns Island, where we're seeing a lot of development. And even up into the Goose Creek area, if there's a big storm, we can see some flooding there in Somerville as well. There is an older website, I don't know how often it's updated, but it can be a great resource where people have uploaded pictures of flooding over time, and it's fixfloodingfirst.org. Again, I don't know how often it's updated, but it can give you a good idea here in the city of Charleston as to where that flooding is. If you want to look up flood zones on your own and where they are, the most accurate information is going to come directly from the FEMA website. And the maps aren't that easy to read because all the streets aren't updated. We are getting new maps in January of 2021, so hopefully the new roads will be on there. I'll toss a link to that down below in the description. And also, if you want it a little easier to read and navigate, the Charleston GIS website does have great ones as well, and I will drop a link to that down below too. And while you're searching around for homes, if you have any questions about the history of flooding activity in that neighborhood, I urge you, just reach out to me, shoot me a text, an email, give me a call, throw up some smoke signals, and let's chat. And if I directly don't know the answer, I've got connections everywhere, and I can find out if that neighborhood historically will be safe for your family from any flooding dangers. So as you can see, flooding is an issue here in Charleston. Personally, I don't think it should be something that keeps you from moving here, because we're not the only area in the country that sees flooding. Here's a couple more videos for you folks. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, like this video, share it with your friends, and drop a comment down below if you live in an area that doesn't flood or one that does, so that people can see where all this is happening and where they should move. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.